If you're over 65 and you wake up every day without giving your morning routine a second thought, please stop for just a minute because what you do in the first hour after waking up can either protect your heart and brain or silently raise your risk of stroke. Yes, stroke. The very thing that takes away speech, balance, memory, and independence in seconds. And here's the most frightening part. Most seniors don't even realize they're doing it. Every single morning, there's one habit, one pattern, one innocent mistake that increases stroke risk dramatically. And science now shows it's more dangerous than many people believe. I'm Dr. John, and for over 20 years, I've worked with senior patients facing everything from high blood pressure to memory loss, from arthritis to post-stroke recovery. But over the last decade, I started noticing a pattern. The most devastating cases, the ones where patients came in after a minor stroke or warning episode, almost all of them shared one thing in common, a small daily habit they thought was harmless. Today, I'm going to walk you through what that habit is, why it's dangerous after 60, and what you can do tomorrow morning to immediately lower your stroke risk. So please stay with me because the solution is simple, but the consequence of ignoring this could be life-changing. Now let's start with a story. A man named Mr. Krishnan, age 68, came into my clinic with strange symptoms. He didn't have paralysis, he didn't have slurred speech, but he felt off. He described it as a split-second dizziness every morning and occasional blurred vision. We ran all the tests: blood pressure, cholesterol, sugar, ECG. Nothing looked too alarming, but when I asked about his morning routine, he casually said, "I wake up, splash cold water on my face, have strong tea, and sit outside in the sun." That's when I paused, because what he had described was the perfect storm. Now let me explain. When you wake up, your body isn't fully ready to jump into action. Your blood vessels are still tight from overnight rest. Your heart rate is slow. Your blood is slightly thicker because of overnight dehydration. This is normal, but when you suddenly stand, move fast, or stimulate your nervous system with caffeine or cold shock, your blood pressure spikes. And if you already have stiff arteries or plaques in your blood vessels, that sudden spike can trigger a clot to move. That's how strokes happen. This leads us to the number one silent mistake seniors make every morning: getting out of bed too quickly. Yes, it sounds simple, but hear me out. Here's what happens when you immediately rise from bed. Gravity pulls blood downward. Your brain gets temporarily less oxygen. Your heart pumps faster to compensate. And if you're dehydrated, the blood is thicker, slower, and less efficient. This creates the perfect conditions for a transient ischemic attack, or worse, an actual stroke. Now you might be thinking, I've always gotten up quickly. I'm fine. But strokes don't happen when we're healthy. They happen after years of silent changes, years of slightly thicker blood, slightly tighter vessels, slightly higher pressure, until one morning, one movement, 1 second changes everything. That's why I created what I call the 90-second wake-up rule. It's simple, it's free, and it has helped hundreds of my patients reduce their dizziness, fatigue, and stroke risk. Here's how it works. Step 1. When you open your eyes in the morning, don't move. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. This helps regulate your heartbeat and signals your nervous system to remain calm. Step 2. Sit up slowly and dangle your legs off the side of the bed. Stay there for 30 seconds. During this time, roll your ankles gently, stretch your arms, or look around the room. This helps circulation adjust. Step 3. Stand up carefully, using a wall or side table for support. Wait another 30 seconds before walking. Take a few small steps in place to warm up your joints. Total time? Just 90 seconds. And yet, this simple practice lowers the chance of a morning blood pressure surge, improves balance, and ensures your brain is getting enough oxygen before you start moving. You might be surprised to hear this, but this one habit, getting out of bed too quickly, has been linked in medical journals to something called orthostatic hypotension. That's when your blood pressure drops too much upon standing, causing dizziness, falls, or mini strokes. And who's most at risk? Adults over 65, especially those with high blood pressure, diabetes, or taking multiple medications. Let me share a patient story. Mrs. Shaw, age 71, had a mild stroke while bending to pick up her slippers. Yes, just that simple movement. She later admitted she was in the habit of waking up, standing, walking to the kitchen, and drinking strong black tea on an empty stomach, all within the first 5 minutes of waking. After her stroke, we slowed everything down. She followed the 90-second wake-up rule religiously. It's been 2 years, and she hasn't had a single episode of dizziness since. Now imagine this. Every morning, tens of thousands of seniors are waking up, standing fast, and unknowingly putting massive stress on their cardiovascular system because no one ever told them otherwise. But now you know, and now you have the power to change it. In the next section, we'll talk about another dangerous morning mistake, one that's hiding in your breakfast. It raises blood sugar, tightens arteries, and puts pressure on the same fragile blood vessels that lead to the brain. We'll talk about what it is, why it's dangerous, and what to eat instead for a healthy brain and strong heart. But before we get there, please consider subscribing to Health Sync. This isn't just about knowledge. It's about building a stronger, wiser community of seniors who choose healing, not helplessness. If you found this helpful, please like the video, share it with a loved one, and stay tuned. Next section is even more eye-opening. Your health is in your hands. Let's protect it, one morning at a time. If you've come this far, you already know. The choices we make in the first hour of our day can either heal us or harm us. And in Section 1, we uncovered a simple truth. Rushing out of bed can silently elevate stroke risk after 60. Just one careless movement on a tired heart and dehydrated system can change everything in a moment. But there's another danger waiting in the morning, one that doesn't come from your mattress, but from your breakfast plate. Let me ask you, what's the first thing you eat after waking up? Toast with jam, flavored cereal, fruit juice, a sweet biscuit with tea? You're not alone. These choices are common across millions of households. They taste comforting, they're easy, and they feel light. But here's the shocking truth. Most common senior breakfasts cause blood vessel constriction, and that means your risk for stroke, especially in the early hours of the day, skyrockets. Let me explain why. When you eat high glycemic foods in the morning, like sugar-laden cereals, white bread, or fruit juices, your blood sugar spikes. Your body, in turn, releases insulin, a hormone that signals the blood vessels to tighten. Tight blood vessels mean higher blood pressure. And if you already have hardened arteries, this sudden pressure can lead to a clot breaking loose. That's how strokes start. Suddenly, quietly, and completely preventable. Now here's the real problem. Most seniors don't realize they're doing anything wrong. They think breakfast means energy, so they grab something quick and sweet. But the reality is, the first thing you eat after waking up trains your metabolism for the entire day. If you start with sugar, your insulin stays elevated. If you stay elevated, your blood vessels stay tense. If they stay tense, your heart and brain stay under pressure. It's a chain reaction. That starts with toast and ends in tragedy. Let me tell you about Mr. Rao. He was 72, had a good routine, walked every morning, never smoked, loved crossword puzzles. But every day his breakfast was the same: two slices of white bread, one banana, a cup of tea with 2 spoons of sugar. He thought he was doing everything right, until one morning he collapsed in the bathroom, a minor stroke. Thankfully, he survived. When he came to see me, we made just 3 changes. Swap the bread for sprouted grain toast, replace the banana with half an avocado, change the tea to black with cinnamon and no sugar. 6 weeks later, not only did his pressure stabilize, he said, "Doctor, I feel like my mind is sharper in the mornings now." And the science backs this. A study published in the Journal of Vascular Health found that seniors who consume more than 25 grams of sugar before 9 a.m. have a 41% increased risk of transient ischemic attacks. That's a mini stroke, a warning shot, and too many seniors ignore the warning. So let's make it practical. What are the worst breakfast foods for stroke risk in seniors? Here are my top 4 red flags. 1. White bread. It's stripped of fiber, spikes blood sugar fast, and offers 0 nutrients. Swap it for sprouted grain or rye bread. 2. Sugary cereals. Even ones labeled whole grain often have hidden sugars. Swap it for unsweetened oats with walnuts and blueberries. 3. Flavored yogurt. Most are loaded with sugar and artificial thickeners. Swap it for plain Greek yogurt with cinnamon. 4. Bottled fruit juices. They sound healthy, but most are just concentrated sugar. Swap it for fresh cucumber water with mint or a small handful of berries. Now, I know you might be thinking, "But Dr. John, I've eaten like this for years." I understand. Food is emotional. It's tied to memories, culture, comfort. But it's never too late to shift. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Just one smart swap a day can begin to reshape your risk. Let's build a stroke-safe breakfast plate together. Here's my personal recommendation: 1 boiled egg or 1/2 cup of lentils, protein. 1 slice of sprouted grain toast with mashed avocado, healthy fat. A few cherry tomatoes or sautéed spinach, anti-inflammatory. Herbal tea with cinnamon or ginger. Optional, a tablespoon of chia seeds soaked overnight in water or almond milk. This breakfast doesn't just feed your body, it protects it. It calms the nervous system. It balances sugar. And most importantly, it keeps your blood vessels relaxed, open, and flowing freely. Now, before we move on, let's recap. The 2 morning habits that skyrocket stroke risk are rising too quickly from bed, eating a sugar-heavy, inflammatory breakfast. Together, these two can create the perfect storm. But when replaced with slow, mindful rising and a nourishing, anti-inflammatory meal, you don't just lower your stroke risk. You give your body the foundation to heal, strengthen, and stay sharp. In the next segment, we'll go even deeper. We'll reveal a 3rd morning habit that few people ever talk about, but which silently contributes to over 35% of strokes in seniors each year. It's not about food or movement. It's something you hear, watch, or do within the first hour of your day. And it may surprise you. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you eat for breakfast, and let's support each other with real healing change. You deserve a brain that stays sharp, a heart that stays strong, and mornings that keep you alive and well. You've come this far because you care, because you're not just surviving your senior years. You're choosing to thrive. In first section, we expose the danger of standing up too quickly in the morning, a habit that silently increases your stroke risk by disturbing your blood pressure and blood flow. In Section 2, we revealed how sugary, processed breakfast foods cause inflammation and arterial stress, putting seniors at greater risk of a stroke within the first hours of their day. And now in Sectio 3, we're going to reveal the third habit. This one is harder to notice. It's not something you eat or do with your body, but something you allow into your mind. And that's why it's so dangerous. Let me ask you, what's the first thing you see, hear, or absorb when you wake up? For many seniors, it's the news, a flood of negative headlines, talk of war, disease, economic fear, or they scroll their phones, checking emails, messages, and stressful updates. Others turn on the TV, not realizing that even background noise can trigger stress responses in the brain. And here's the truth. Chronic emotional stress in the morning, even mild, can elevate cortisol, narrow your blood vessels, raise your heart rate, and increase your risk of cardiovascular events, especially in the first 90 minutes of waking. You might think, it's just news, it's harmless. But to your nervous system, that flood of information is seen as danger. It pushes your body into a mild fight or flight state. The heart beats faster, vessels constrict, blood thickens, and if your arteries are already compromised, this internal pressure can tip the balance. The result? A clot, a blockage, a silent stroke. Now, science backs this up. A 2022 study from the Journal of Psychosomatic Research found that adults who consume high-stress content within 30 minutes of waking showed a measurable increase in morning blood pressure and inflammatory markers. And for seniors whose vascular systems are more fragile, this seemingly small habit becomes a major trigger. But here's the empowering part. You can flip the script. What you give your brain in the morning can either elevate your stress or strengthen your peace. Let me introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Desai, both retired teachers in their 70s. They used to start every day with a loud news channel playing in the background. Mr. Desai had been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat that already increased his stroke risk. His cardiologist told him to reduce stress, but he couldn't see how the news had anything to do with it. Until one morning he had a mild stroke, right after watching a breaking news segment. After recovery, they changed their morning routine. Instead of TV, they sat quietly together with herbal tea, listening to soft music and reading a devotional or poem aloud. 1 year later, his blood pressure is down, his heart rhythm has stabilized, and both say their days feel calmer. This isn't a coincidence. It's the power of emotional hygiene. Let me now give you 3 ways to protect your mind every morning, so your heart and brain stay safe. 1. No news or screens for the first 60 minutes. Instead, spend that time on deep breathing, walking in the garden, or light stretching. Give your nervous system time to adjust to the day calmly. 2. Practice gratitude. Even writing down 3 small things you're grateful for can reduce cortisol and inflammation. It resets your emotional baseline for the day. 3. Use sound therapy. Listening to soft instrumental music, nature sounds, or positive affirmations can lower heart rate and blood pressure. Start your day with peace, and your blood vessels will respond in kind. Now you might be asking, how do I combine everything we've learned? Here's what your stroke-preventing morning routine could look like. Step 1. Wake up slowly. Use the 90-second wake-up rule from Part 1 to gently adjust your circulation. Step 2. Hydrate. Drink a glass of room-temperature water with a pinch of Himalayan salt or a squeeze of lemon. This thins the blood and replenishes lost fluids. Step 3. Eat smart. Choose protein-rich, anti-inflammatory foods like boiled eggs, nuts, avocado, sautéed greens, and herbal teas. Step 4. Protect your peace. No screens, no headlines. Instead, do breath work, say a prayer, take a short walk, or talk to someone you love. Because stroke prevention isn't just about pills. It's about how you live, what you eat, how you rise, and what you feed your mind. Let me leave you with this. Every stroke that happens could be a stolen moment, a stolen memory, a lost story, a missed connection with someone you love. But every day you make a smarter choice. You reclaim your life. You become harder to hurt, and you rewrite what aging looks like. So my message to you from the heart is this: you still have time to heal, to strengthen, to rise with purpose and protect your brain, one habit at a time. If this video helped you, please click the like button. It helps us reach more seniors who need this message. And subscribe to Health Sync, where every week we uncover the truth behind aging and empower you to live longer, stronger, and happier. Let's keep growing together, one peaceful morning at a time.